effects of climate in Malawi, we are already experiencing them. In some cases, we are having droughts. In other cases, we are having floods, taking away people's crops in the fields. And at some other instances, we are seeing the storms blowing away roofs of the houses and schools. So already, we are experiencing the impact of climate change in our country. We are already looking at ways of how we can reduce the effects of climate change. Nowadays, our government is promoting what we are calling conservation agriculture, so that we can have the little moisture that is there can give us more production on one unit area. As of now, we are promoting the use of fuel-efficient stoves, which uses 40% less of fuel wood as opposed to the 3-stone fire cooking. Hi, it's Climate Week. The event yesterday was very good. Being a Climate Week, Concern Universal has taken a broad step to sensitize the people about the effects of climate change. And we managed to achieve our objective because some of the passers-by innocently admitted that they never thought about climate change and the effects it is having on our planet. And they pledged to do something so that they reduce the emissions of carbon in their homes.
So I'm going to buy a new bike because I currently don't have one, and it's going to be second-hand as well. So
my pledge is not to buy any new clothes for a whole year and just to rely on second-hand clothes that I can pick up in charity shops.
My pledge is to have one car in our family. We've had 2 up until now, and we're going to manage with 1.
Yeah, I'll do. I will turn lights on when I leave the room.
My own personal pledge is to stop leaving my phone charging all night, and I'm going to help raise awareness and encourage my friends to do the same thing.
I realise that we use, the cooker, for instance, too much, because we'll cook a meal, I'll cook a meal, my daughters will cook a meal, and then my other daughters will cook a meal because, and then the cooker goes on all night and the plug. So I'm going to try and make sure everything's turned off, mobile phones at night, televisions, even when they'll watch the telly when they're asleep somehow.
You need to have a mindset, behavior change so that it grows in you and change to reduce the carbon emissions. So it was a very good idea to sensitize people in the streets. Of course, we experienced some people being negative about it, and they thought that we can't do anything, but we really need to do something. It's we people who are damaging the planet. We need to do something to correct this thing.
excellent.
I will also begin to start my own veg garden. It's really satisfying to grow your own food, but also dramatically reduces the cost of the transport and the production of raw packaging to buy food from big major supermarkets. So, yeah.
I myself have pledged to buy more very local produce rather than produce which comes outside of the UK and so on, because obviously transporting costs and involve carbon footprint, and also just if I buy like for example use the market and butter market, I mean the more you use the local produce, the less there is carbon footprint. So I think it's quite a good way to start.
To my surprise, carbon emissions produced by an individual person in UK is far much higher than the carbon emissions we are producing in Malawi. In Malawi, a family of 6 using the open fire, we are emitting 4.5 metric tons of carbon. But here in UK, an individual producing 10 tons of carbon per year, that's too much.
Meeting people like Esther from Concern Universal and hearing about what is done so often in places like Malawi and other parts of Africa, we actually need to learn from them about eating local, growing our own food and supporting the local growers and local farmers.
But right now we've got a lot of short-term problems. We've got the problems with the economy, we've got the problems with the EU. People have got all these huge concerns right here and right now, but they can't see the danger that's coming just around the corner. They can't see the problem that carbon emissions and global warming is going to pose. So What you're doing is a very good idea. What you're doing is raising awareness so people will know it's coming, people will know there's something they should be worried about, and people will know that there's something they can actually do to maybe just decrease the problem just a little bit.
I think if everyone can make one little difference, change their lives, then if everyone in the whole world potentially could make that little change, then it's going to make a massive difference to people's lives and to make our world a better place.
There is need to do something. So people in UK, you are producing a lot of carbons, and we in Africa, we are the ones suffering the consequences of this. We need to start doing something about that so that we reduce that 10 tons to a reasonable limit.